everybody, it is Calxiyn here, and today we are talking about why RWBY cannot be a maiden. This is another paid Patreon video by RWBY. Thanks for that. Alright, so let's talk about this.
This is the 10th maiden video we've done.
10th what?
Maiden video we've done.
Really?
We get a toaster. No, it's not, but it feels like it sometimes.
I know. Oh, I guess we did do Cinder and Glinda. Glinda, yeah, that was about Glinda being a maiden, right? I did bring that up because she did that storm shit. Oh, okay, hold on.
And then we did something about the maidens actually being Ruby's dad. And that was a joke.
Okay, so
I'm
can we...
funny sometimes.
Yeah. Can we talk about this? Okay.
Go nuts.
So, I don't remember the context that this was given to me, and RWBY just gave me a bunch of suggestions of stuff that they were talking about in a voice chat one night, and I never really got clarification for the points he wanted me to make. Like,
but you know, if we did clarify, that would mean we were professionals. We improv here.
He says he's really busy working, but he still liked our Cinder video anyway, and so, like, you know, he has to make that money so he can keep making videos where there is no clarification about what we're talking about. Anyway, I understand what he means, though. So, here's my take on kind of what he wanted us to talk about.
Okay.
So, we've talked about this before, but there's something that Salem says to Cinder that the maidens, or the silver-eyed warrior power hurt her, right? And caused her injuries. So it'd be weird for those two things to be able to coexist if one of them is harmful towards the other, right? And so I think that the idea here was that silver-eyed warriors were made to somehow counteract the maidens, and we talked about a theory a while ago, I think. I don't think we made an episode on it, I think we just briefly mentioned that someone believes that the four maidens are actually made by the, like, I guess there's two ways to think about this, that they're powered by the dark god, and that's why the silver-eyed warriors counteract them, or that they are almost like physical manifestations of the relics, because there are four relics, the choice, the destruction, and all that, but there are also four maidens, and so to go over that quick, winter is destruction, spring would be creation, I don't remember the other one suddenly, there's knowledge, and then there is choice. And so you may be wondering how summer and fall fit into that exactly.
Yeah, so, like, how is, like, do the leaves choose to fall? Is, like,
no,
photosynthesis, like,
Did you just spit on me?
Maybe.
In this hot room, and we have the lights off because it's so hot, I just felt a cold wad of spit go on my face.
Do you want me to spit on you more?
No,
like, would it assist in your
No, leave me alone. Anyway,
I had a lisp.
Right. So, the point, I think, is that knowledge follows usually when most people start to get an education to go to school.
Because
like
September, alright.
Yeah,
sure.
because, that's the beginning of the school year. And then choice for summer, it's kind of like, you know, what you're gonna do with yourself during this time of year where,
there's
like,
104 days of summer. No.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly. I don't know how I feel about that one, to be honest, but there's also the idea that the maidens...
It's the summer maiden! Verb!
There's also the idea that the maidens were just made by the dark god, like, because he felt like it.
Whoa, really? But they were made by the wizard.
I know!
And the wizard may have been Ozpin, who seems to be fighting for the good guy.
That's why this confuses me, because the silver-eyed warriors are meant to fight against the bad guys, the Grimm, right? But if they're hurt by the maiden powers, or if the maiden is hurt by them, then, like, what kind of, like, hierarchy are we dealing with here? Because you think that there's just good, bad, right? That there's just humans and then there's Grimm. But then, when you talk about this, the silver-eyed warrior and the maiden thing, like, you see where I'm going with this? Like, you start wondering if the maidens were made by Ozpin, and Ozpin wants to keep them so they can fight against the Grimm, and I know that Ozpin made them, I just mean that, like, the power Ozpin got to make them was somehow evil. You know, that somehow was Dark God, enhanced, I don't know. Like, Dark God sponsored. It was sponsored by the Dark God.
With a shot of dark, it was like espresso.
And so...
Wonderful.
You know what I'm saying, though, right? Like, if the maidens were supposed to be fighting against the Grimm, and the silver-eyed warriors were supposed to be fighting against... If they're on the same side, then why do they hurt each other, right? And so, because she said it has something to do with the maiden's power, and that's really vague, and we may need to update in the future when we actually figure out what this means, because I thought that it was because of the weight, like the Grim thingy that she had on her hand while sucking up Amber's power.
Yeah, but I feel like that may be Salem being like, look, don't worry, like, I have the evil way of prying out of them.
I know, but because she said the Silver-Eyed Warrior had, like, thing affected you and it had something to do with the Maiden's power, that, to me...
They
like,
said that?
Yeah, it said something like that when they're talking, and
okay.
I remember that, like, thinking about that, right, it would be easier for her to say it has something to do with that Grim bug on your hand, but, you know, whatever, right? Saying it has something to do with the Maiden's power brings the Maiden's power as the direct source. But that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, the Maidens need to be evil for this to work. Or the Silver-Eyed Warriors need to be evil. Like, somebody has to be evil.
Here's the thing, though. The Silver-Eyed Warriors are just said to be great warriors, you know?
But they're said to strike down Grim with a single glance. That kind of implies that that's what they're fighting against.
Yeah, and it killed the Grim,
It
but
didn't. It
didn't
froze
really...
the Grim, but then it
froze the
destroyed Cinder, right?
Yeah, but
and so how does that make any sense?
Look, right, like, this flamethrower is really good at burning down forests, and if a person gets in the way, hey, it does a job okay, too, you know?
I guess. But, like, because she said it was because of the Maiden's power, now I feel like we're left in this confusion where, like, who was designed for what? Especially because now the gods have been introduced. This makes things more complicated.
Would you like me to show off what I feel it is?
Can I go back to RWBY just for a second? Because this is supposed to be about RWBY, right?
Sure, fair enough.
And
about why... So you think that...
Because these two things contradict each other, and maybe we need to talk about this more as a broader subject, she can't be both. The second reason is because I don't think that there is room for her to be in the plot. And we talked about, somebody mentioned this in regards to the Cinder redemption video, was that Cinder can't be on the good side because the bad guys will try and probably almost succeed in ending up killing her, right? Because they want the Maiden powers to be sent to someone else. And then the good guys will end up killing her because they don't want the bad guys to have it. Does that make sense? And so even if Cinder switched sides, somebody's gonna be hunting her, and someone basically said that that is how she is doomed for death. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And so, putting that into the context of with RWBY is that she can't get it because then, like, the bad guys need it. They basically need to kill her, or they need to do that sucky face thing, which... plot-wise, like, she could just keep it, but at the same time, we've seen her overpowered already, and so if she does get it, like, it doesn't make sense to me how they'd let her keep it. So, you know, like, eventually the bad guys kind of need to get it, and so I don't think she can have it.
So, would you like to hear my thoughts on this?
Yeah, go ahead, Hunter. You take the stage. You go for it.
Alright. I'm thinking that the Maidens and the Silver-Eyed Warriors are not... Like, I understand that if they were, in fact, created by either God, Dark, or Light, that maybe you could get that sort of... Maybe that could be a future plot point or a future twist that, you know, a Silver-Eyed Warrior cannot then become a Maiden. But I get the feeling that they aren't, strictly speaking, always related.
I know, like, and that's what I don't understand!
And so if they're not related, then it's entirely possible that, you know... Like, look, all we know is that a Maiden... Someone becomes a Maiden because a Maiden died and they thought about them.
The other thing is that it's a bit too OP for RWBY to have everything.
Yeah, I know, right? It's gonna become, like...
Even if it's possible, that doesn't mean, from a writing perspective, that it's feasible for them to do that to her. Like, she's, nah.
And there's nothing in the set canonical rules of the Silver-Eyed Maiden. That could be what RWBY becomes.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If they contradict each other, wouldn't RWBY getting that power basically kill her?
Yeah, but they don't contradict.
But they do because...
No, they don't.
Yeah, because
to become a Maiden, all you have to do is a Maiden to die, and there's nothing that says that Silver-Eyed Warriors are from...
the Silver-Eyed power was what fucked her up, because she was a Maiden, and so... You know what I mean?
Did she actually? I don't remember
I'm almost 10,000% sure that she said that. We just talked about it in the group chat a couple days ago.
Okay, well, you also thought that... The group chat also told you that there wasn't going to be a Blake and Yang trailer.
No, that wasn't
for
the group chat. That was
season 6
that
or
was
whatever?
somebody on Tumblr. That was some rando. We don't trust those people.
Or rather, volume 5.
Oh, you can go look at the scene if you want and come back.
Sure.
If it means that much to you.
I mean, it's just if.
Okay, then let's go. Let's go.
Oh,
so Hunter didn't fucking believe me.
Look, all right, I didn't remember that.
It is because of the Maiden's power. Make no mistake, Cinder, you hold the key to our victory, but your newfound strength brings with it a crippling weakness. There you go.
So 2 things.
What?
1, you know, flamethrower thing as mentioned previously.
What are you talking about, flamethrower?
Flamethrower when I said don't burn a forest, but also does really good on these. And secondly, I don't know if they really thought about that, if they really considered that. Secondly, I feel like people have heard about this Maiden thing and they've jumped on it like crazy, and I just feel like...
I know they haven't thought it. I know they didn't think about it, because we've talked about this. The Maidens were a very, like, spur-of-the-moment kind of addition to the show, so I don't think we should be taking it too seriously, but... There is your proof right there.
Fair
she
enough.
cannot be a maiden because it would... I'm pretty sure something would implode inside her. Like, that is my imagination of what I believe will happen. So to answer your question, Waterboy, the answer is no. And the answer is that I'm always right and Hunter is always wrong. I feel very content with myself now. So final thoughts on this? Like, would you want to see her become a maiden? Because I talked about how overpowered that is earlier.
People are a little too into the maidens. That's not the part I really enjoy about RWBY.
About the show?
I still don't know if they do it as a twist that RWBY won't...
What if the Silver-Eyed Warriors were always bad? Like, what if they were bad, man?
But I mean, Summer... I mean, we don't know much about Summer,
I know, but what if they were meant to be evil, and
but
that's
I mean,
why
they
the
fought
maidens
the
hurt
Grimm,
things.
so, you know...
But they said they could strike down the Grimm with a single glance. But if she can do that to a person, how is that any different? You know what I mean?
Well, then you're kind of agreeing with me, aren't you, about the flamethrower argument?
I mean, kind of, but at the same time, I'm saying that with Salem's quote right there, it doesn't make any sense then. Then everything should be annihilated, not just the maiden.
Well, I mean, you know, it did a good job at both a human and
But
a
the Grimm is just frozen. It didn't actually die. So if anything, it did a bad job. Like,
well, strike down, it's basically incapacitated, is it not?
Yeah, but it's attracting other Grimm to the school.
It could also be because it's like a fucking war zone, but, you know. Anyways, so put me down as like a maybe.
A maybe for me being right, or a maybe for this happening? Because I see this as a hard no.
A maybe for this possibly happening. Or no, a maybe for this being the case that a Silver-Eyed Warrior cannot become a Fall Maiden.
I'm gonna put a hard no for this ever happening because writing-wise it would never work, even if it's possible in the show.
I just don't think that would happen, no.
Yeah.
It would be a little too cluttered.
Even if it's a possibility in the show, it just does not make sense writing-wise at all. Like, it just doesn't work.
And we all know you're a great writer.
I know. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to purchase a video like Waterboy here, you can become a Patreon, and that's pretty much it.
Go to your local Blockbuster.
Why?
Purchasing videos. Anyways.
Okay.
Blockbuster
doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
And that's why it's not fun.
I went to Roger's video. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and...
So many SpongeBob DVDs
We'll see you later.
rented.
Bye!